Hello there guys, and welcome back to my channel for a new video on my channel, and this time for an actual breaking transfer news video. It's not really that breaking anymore, it kind of came out a couple of hours ago, but you know how YouTube works. If I upload this earlier it would just not get any views, so I have to upload it at 5 PM UK time because otherwise it just doesn't work that way really. But Chelsea have pretty much officially, while not completely officially, made the signing of Mateo Kovacic, on a permanent deal, this time from Real Madrid. Basically just completed it, I guess, and agreed a fee between the two clubs. That is basically what happened. Of course, he already spent last season on loan from Real Madrid at Chelsea. Whether he was great last season or not is a debate to be had, and that is basically what we're going to be talking about today, and also whether I think it is a good move. Now, initially, I actually want to talk about whether, rather why I believe that we should sign him, because when I started planning this video, it wasn't actually out yet that basically the fee has been agreed between the two clubs. It was only like, the talk of us wanting to sign him on a permanent deal became a lot stronger over the last couple of days. And I was like, all right, let's speak about it, because on Twitter, a lot of people were like back and forth, and kind of the fan base was really split again, because some people say, you have to sign him in the situation we're in, and some people really don't want him, especially for that money. So that's what I wanted to speak about. And then it came out that the fee has been agreed and it's basically happening. So that's the situation. Now, of course, that's all that I'm going to be speaking about today. It's going to be a lot of details, just my opinion. But, the only thing we don't really know at this point is how long of a contract he will sign. Probably 4 or 5 years. But other than that, we know pretty much everything. But of course, if you are new to my channel, please be sure to subscribe. That would be massively appreciated. Of course, also hit the notification bell button to be notified whenever I do upload a new video. That'd be great if you could do that as well. But yeah, if we could hit 5,000 subscribers in the near future, that'd be great. We're, I think, at 4,770 something or whatever it is. So, if you're new here, please do subscribe. That'd be great. Drop a like on the video. That'd be cool too. And of course, leave me your thoughts on Chelsea pretty much officially signing Mateo Kovacic on a permanent deal from Real Madrid. Leave me your thoughts on that down in the comment section below. But now getting into it, like I say, it has been pretty much published by almost every reliable source out there. The Telegraph, the Standard, pretty much everyone. And also, obviously, from, sources from Spain. And, the fee that is being spoken about, obviously you can always debate euros and pounds, obviously pound sterling, converse between the two. So in euros, it seems to be 45 million euros as an initial transfer fee, going up to 50 million euros, if you include add-ons and if you include bonuses. And in pounds, that would be 40.3 million pounds as an initial transfer fee, and going up to 44 million pounds or so, with add-ons, which in my opinion is a lot of money. It certainly is a lot of money for a player that is most likely going to be a backup. Probably not at the start while Loftus-Cheek is still injured, but once Loftus-Cheek is back, he will most likely be a backup. Maybe he won't actually play in that position. We'll have to wait and see. But, when Ruben is back, and with Jorginho and Kante and even other players that we have in the squad, he will probably be a backup. But still, it is a player that, in my opinion, we just had to sign. Like, there were only 2 players we could sign this window, yeah? Those are Gonzalo Higuain and Mateo Kovacic, simply because of how the FIFA rules work. While we have a transfer ban, it is not actually a transfer ban. We can sign as many players as we want, but we're not allowed to register them as part of our squad. And, that is the problem. Like, we could go out and sign Lionel Messi right now, but he would only be allowed to play next summer when we can register him. So, that is the problem. But because both Mateo Kovacic and Gonzalo Higuain were already registered as part of our squad, well, before the transfer ban ever came into place, so, last season, they were already registered for us. So as long as we completed the signing before Monday, which is the 1st of July, because up until then he is already registered, as long as we complete it by then, everything's fine and we can sign him like anybody. So those are the only 2 players that we can sign. We clearly don't want to sign Gonzalo Higuain. Sarri has basically made that kind of official, or kind of clear, when in his press conference at Juventus, of course. So Mateo Kovacic is the only player we're going to sign this summer. So we kind of had to. Real Madrid knew that we had the funds, because we're not going to sign anyone else. We have just sold Real Madrid, Eden Hazard to them, so we have that money. And we, of course, have big sponsorship deals with Nike, with Yokohama, and, obviously with the Premier League. We just have plenty of money, let's be honest. So, we also weren't all that nice with Real Madrid, and how not stingy, but how tough we were in the negotiations around Eden Hazard. So, they weren't exactly going to give us Kovacic for free. I mean, they initially wanted to include him in kind of a deal for Hazard, but Marino Granovskaya didn't fancy that at all, and I think that's actually good. But yeah, it doesn't really matter how much we paid. We're probably going to pay those 44 million pounds. Maybe it adds up at 43 million pounds in the end, because usually not all add-ons end up being paid, because it just doesn't turn out that way usually. But does it really matter? I mean, it's not going to influence our next year's budget. That's not really how football works. Like, we're not going to have, if we don't spend them now, 44 million pounds more next summer. It's not really how it works. And with the transfer ban, we just need depth in our midfield. Like, even if you look at the Europa League final, we had Loftus-Cheek out, and we were scared about Kante being out. And if Kante was out, we basically only had 3 midfielders. You know, of course, not counting this Drinkwater, of course. And I hope this summer he will finally leave, even though he was already told 2 windows previously that he should leave, but he didn't. So let's hope he finally leaves now. That would be good. But we just need men in midfield. Like, we don't know for sure yet, you know, what formation Frank Lampard is going to play at the club. Is he going to be a 4-3-3? Is he going to be a 4-3-3 with a kind of a bow, as I like to call it? You know, that way. I can't really do it. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say, with Jorginho, someone as the deepest player in the midfield 3 and 2 ahead of him. Kind of a bow and arrow, if that makes sense, or like a bowl. You get what I'm trying to say, obviously. So 1 deeper than the 2 others. If we're still playing that, if we're going to switch to a 4-2-3-1 formation, which I don't think we will, but we possibly could do, we just need players. Like, of course, we have Loftus-Cheek, but we don't know for sure when he will be back. You know, some people are still talking about December. I still think it will be earlier than that. Probably November time, possibly even late October. Maybe not, but I think it's probably going to be November. That's just the feeling I have. But, you know, and also what I know about the injury. It doesn't really matter now. So we have that. Obviously, we need someone during that time as well. And yes, we have Mason Mount coming back. And yes, we have Ross Barkley. And yes, we have N'Golo Conte. And yes, we have Jorginho. But other than that, who do we actually have? Yes, you know, you could say Ethan Ampadu could play midfield. Possibly, but he could also go out on loan, because we don't need him at centre-back, because we have too many centre-backs as it is, I guess, with Kazuma coming back from loan most likely as well. And yeah, is he really good enough for midfield right now? I wouldn't say so. Then you have Bakayoko coming back. Yes, fair enough. We'll have to wait and see whether Frank Lampard wants to use him. Like I say, then a Drinkwater probably and hopefully on his way out. And then we're kind of sat there, like, we're not going to use Marco van Ginkel. Let's be honest. Like, get those things out of your head. And we need players. Like, we just need someone there. And Mateo Kovacic is also extremely versatile. So I understand why people don't want him, and because they say it's way too much money for a backup player. But he's so versatile. He's a backup player for 3 positions. Like, it's as extreme as that. He can literally play every midfield position there is. He can play in a double pivot. All right, he can't play as a holding the end by himself, I guess. But if you play him there in that position, but as a regista in a different role, even though it's the same position on the field, he can most certainly do that. It's probably, well, not probably, it's in my opinion a much better position for him than actually the left central midfield position that he played under Maurizio Sarri last year. I actually think his best position might actually be the right hand midfield position against slightly more defensive teams. You know, if we're talking about it the way, you know, we played under Maurizio Sarri, I don't think he's the best regista. I just don't think he has the, you know, the footballing mind about, you know, to properly move the way he needs to move and move other, you know, his teammates around the way they need to be moved around. But possibly he could improve at that. He's never really played as a regista except the last 6 months, and then very barely. But last 6 months, obviously after Fabregas left, he was Jorginho's replacement for that position. So that is that. But I think in that right centre midfielder spot, if it was like under Sarri, that could actually be his best position. But he can play all of those. Yes, we all know he hasn't scored in like 105 or 106 games or whatever it was for club and country, or was it 1 goal, whichever one it was. Basically just doesn't score, and only managed to get 2 assists last season, which again really isn't great considering he was our most advanced, you know, midfielder for a majority of the games that we played last season. And to then only have 2 assists and no goals to his name is poor, and he certainly does have to improve on that. But we just need him. Like, we don't have enough midfielders, and if we don't sign him, and it's not like he's a bad player. Like, I know he didn't score, and I know he only had 2 assists, but he's still a very good player. He's a very good passer of the ball. He's got a very good touch. He's a really hard worker. He's a lot stronger than he looks. You know, he knows how to use his body, in my opinion. It's just that finishing and that movement towards the final third is what really lacks. He also has that pass in him to get that assist, but sometimes doesn't get into the final third enough to, you know, play that kind of the assisting pass and over the top, to play the over the top balls. He kind of plays too far forward, so then he's kind of stuck in the middle of, doesn't go forward enough to play the, you know, through the lines, proper assisting passes when the opponent hits deep, which most opponents do against Chelsea, especially last season. And he's not, you know, deep enough to play the over the top balls to the striker and the winger. So that's why, you know, it kind of hinders him. But he can work on that. But that doesn't mean it's good enough. You know, he certainly has to work on that. But that also doesn't mean that he hasn't got abilities and, you know, traits in his game that are very, very useful to have in your squad. So that's why I personally think it was a move that we had to make. It was a move that I think is good that we did make it. And like I said earlier, whether you cry about it, oh, it's too much money and I only would have bought him for 35 million. At the end of the day, it's not your money. It's not my money. It's the club's money. And like I said, it's not going to affect next year's budget, really. I mean, with financial fair play, we can literally buy whatever we want. But it's not really like if we don't spend anything for 2 years now, then we can spend, I don't know, 500 million in 2 years. It's not, again, not really how it works with financial fair play. So, you know, we might as well do something with all the money that we get, whether it's from Nike, Yokohama, the Premier League, and all the other sponsors that we have. Prize money from the Prem, prize money from the Europa League, and all of those, and qualification for the Champions League. Might as well do something with the bloody money, and also selling Eden Hazard. So might as well do something with it. And you know, I think getting Mateo Kovacic, you know, in is, you know, not a bad situation to be in. I think if he's tied down long term, if he has a good season this season, possibly we could even try and sell him on for a profit, even if it's not going to be a big profit, but possibly a marginal profit. If, you know, our youth players improve so much next season that we actually don't want Kovacic around anymore next season, when we can also sign other players, you know, after the transfer ban. That is a possibility, but I think right now it was simply a move that we had to make, and I think there's no two ways around it. Now, of course, there's still this massive elephant in the room: where the hell is Frank Lampard? You know, Eunice spoke about it. I have that information as well. You know, it's a bit iffy at the moment. Apparently, there's kind of small weights, kind of Marina hoping maybe there's another less, you know, risk attached option that will become available rather than making Frank Lampard the manager. I guess that's not going to happen. I don't know why she's hoping for that. Of course, I don't know whether it's 100% legit, but I don't know why exactly she's hoping for that, because, I mean, no one's going to lose their job in, I don't know, July, are they? So, you know, if they're not available now, they're not going to be available before any other time before the start of the season. So it will happen. Frank Lampard will be our new manager with Jody Morris as his assistant. You know, hopefully the sooner the better, but as long as it gets done a few days before preseason starts, before even the loanies come back for preseason, it's all fine. It doesn't really make a difference, and that's why I don't think they are stressed about it. One thing I do want to mention, by the way, is that reporter from Spain, then quoted by, you know, sources in England, but they also just said, you know, that the news came out from Spain, that apparently Frank Lampard, who has been offered a 3-year deal as the Chelsea manager, whether that's true or not, again, we'll have to wait and see. But he was basically consulted whether he wants Mateo Kovacic to stay or not, and that is obviously, you know, so his answer to that, basically, when being consulted about that, did influence the decision of the board of Marina Granovskaya whether we want to sign Mateo Kovacic. And if that's the case, if Frank Lampard wants him and we need him for depth anyway, I think no one can really argue it. And if you are extremely against, you know, like really against the board and saying this hinders the youth and this and that, no, I'm sorry, but it's just a move that we had to make, especially with, you know, Ruben Loftus-Cheek injured. If Ruben was fit right now and completely fit, I could understand the whole debate. But if he's out until November, December time, you know, there's a large chunk of the season is played until November, December. You need enough players until then as well. You know, you can't only have enough players from December onwards, and then you only have to wait and see how good Ruben will be and how quickly we'll get to full match fitness after a serious injury. So, you know, like I say, it was a good move that, in my opinion, we simply had to make. And yeah, let me just check how long I've been recording for. I've been recording for longer than I thought I did, actually. So I'm going to just leave it there. You know, I'm definitely going to release a video once Frank Lampard has been appointed as the manager. I will also make a video on, you know, the teams that I think will be his starting 11, you know, under Frank Lampard, and also a tactical analysis of, you know, his time at Derby County. Whether we can then, you know, just transfer that to what we expect from him with Chelsea is a different question, because it's a different league. It's a completely different set of players. It's a completely different quality and set of players, if that makes sense. So, you know, the Derby players aren't anywhere near as good as the Chelsea players. So will he play the same way with a completely different level of footballers? We'll just have to wait and see, but I will still try, and, you know, currently trying to do my, you know, the best research I can do, and watching a lot of Derby games and just trying to find out as many things as I can, really, to provide a good video for you in that. Obviously, all of that will come out after Frank Lampard has been appointed. I don't want to do it before. I don't really see the point, because even when he is appointed, we still have plenty of time to go until the first pre-season game or whatever. And there's no transfer news, because once we signed Kovacic, we can't really sign anyone else, so it's only going to be a couple of people that we might sell. But other than that, yeah, that's it. One thing I do have to mention, I did mention it in the podcast yesterday, but Jada Silva has officially left for Bristol City from Chelsea, which is a little bit disappointing, because obviously he was an option as the left back if Marcos Alonso left, but he didn't leave. Definitely won't leave now. It's a bit disappointing to lose him. Would have been preferably would have been better to loan him out again, but I'm sure he didn't fancy that. He wanted to be more permanent somewhere and obviously properly start his career as a senior player that actually plays for the club that he's owned by. So it is understandable. We're still gutting, but Juan Castillo, another left back, you know, from the youth setup, does seem like, or has signed a new contract, even though it looked like he was going to leave. Basically did a complete U-turn. and seems like he's going to stay now. I'm not sure whether he has officially signed his contract extension yet or not, but it seems like he's going to stay. But yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you guys for watching. Like I said in the beginning, please do subscribe to my channel. That would be massively appreciated. Also click the notification bell button so you don't miss any of the future videos that I will upload, because you will get a notification for it. That's what notification bell means. Drop a like on this video. Leave me your thoughts on the whole situation with Mateo Kovacic down in the comment section below. Also, if you have anything to say about Jada Silva, leave me your thoughts down in the comment section below, like I just said. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea, and I'll see you when I see you.